I'm Anya and welcome to part 2 of my Calarts Sketchbook tour. A lot of you are asking me to go through these books in more detail, so I've decided to film them again, going through my processes and ideas. And this one, the pink book, is about the various things I saw in my travels. So it includes my trip to Hong Kong and Japan, and more random things rather than stuff to do with my home in the countryside. Anyway, the reason it took so long to get these videos out is because I only just got my sketchbook back last week, and that's because now I'm currently living in the Calarts dorms. I'm here and I'm starting classes in a few days. So this is just to cover my address, lol. This was something I added last minute because I didn't want to do a full page, and so instead I just did this little post-it note dancing dude. Here is a dance sketch thing I did. I used a 1 million dance video. I think that's what the name of the studio is. They have a lot of stuff on YouTube and it's really fun. There's another one in my other sketchbook that I talked about. These took about 5 to 10 seconds, I would say, in just the pink parts. Then I would add more detail with the hair and the colouring afterwards. Oh, okay. Then this is actually the first page I did because I was very scared, and this was me in Birmingham airport waiting to catch a flight to go to Hong Kong, and there was a really cute kid sleeping and just some more people waiting in line for things. Then these are some more people, but I decided to really push the proportions and I think it turned out pretty cool. Then I just used a highlighter for the background to fill the space. Then this is my friend's dogs. They are the cutest little things and I really enjoyed painting them. Then this was a page that I kind of neglected for a while. I did these various mannequins. Some of them I saw in Hong Kong in shopping malls, but others are just made up. But the page looked kind of empty, so it took I think it was the last day when I was just going over things. I added a smiley face sticker, gave some basic shading, and then just had loads of random clothing items in the background. And this page is another one I kind of neglected. It's based off a night out I had. Yeah, it was a fun night, but it was pretty hectic and I nearly got a cockroach go up my skirt, so that was not fun. Then we flew out to Japan, specifically Tokyo. It was absolutely gorgeous, and these are based off of a couple photos I took. This is another thing I did in post, but I really enjoyed just these black and white, these grayscale little thumbnails. Then this is from a Croquis Cafe video. I really like this woman. I think I drew her a couple times in this sketchbook. She has such nice shapes, big people tend to have softer curves and things, so it's fun to draw. Then what I did for the background is I put liquid latex on the lady and painted acrylic over the top. Then I peeled the liquid latex off, but in some places like here, the actual paper came with it too. And here I just never drew her head, I just forgot or something. I honestly can't remember what happened there, lol. Then this is just some sketching from Japan. I got some cool stickers and then there were stamps around the place. And then these are just based off figures I saw. Tried to go with a more graphic style here. And then this was the view from our hotel type thing. It wasn't the best view, but it still was pretty interesting to see all these electronics. And it really reminds me of when I went to India. I had the same view, but it was a slightly more organized mess here. And these are just some police officers I saw in the subway. But this is a pretty self-explanatory page. I used regular markers, and then this is like an oil paint marker, I think, and it kind of soaked through, but it's okay. Then this is just based off of some of the fashion I was seeing in Japan and some really rough sketches. This I went straight into pen in one line, hence why it's not the most accurate, but it was fun. Then this is a really cool time. We went to an owl cafe, and so we got to see all kinds of hooting birds, and I drew them. They were very sweet, but also very smelly. Then here's some more random stuff. This page, along with many others in this sketchbook, was just like filled with random stuff because I was running out of particular ideas or scenes, but they're still interesting, I think, in my humble opinion. Then this is one of the earlier pages I did. This is just like I put random washes of color in squares, and then I created really rough thumbnails based on like aliens, alien abductions. Like here's a crashed spaceship, and then I guess some things happening back here. Then there's like a creature, I don't know, UFO, abduction, mysterious light, alien under the bed, another random doodle page. And this is very true. I love mustard and wasabi, but I don't like hot and spicy things. Then this was one of my roommates I had at my school, my mum, and then my 2 German exchanges that I had at the start of the school year. Some more random stuff inspired by Egon Schiele. I think his artwork is incredible. It's a big inspiration to me. Although I tried to make her look up at first, and oh my god, it's like the worst thing I've ever drawn. It's actually hilarious. So yeah, I redrew her. I don't like this page. I just used some brown Prismacolors and it doesn't look interesting. It was based off a photo I saw on Instagram of this woman here. I don't know. I kept it though because it's not a mistake, it just isn't good. Then this guy is low-key based off of 2D from Gorillas, but you're not meant to include fan art, hence why I made it a lot more subtle. Another random page. At the time, this meme was going around with birds not being real, and I think it's hilarious, so I drew some robot seagull pigeon things, and I don't know, some ladies with another giant pigeon. Then this is my bunny, my sweet baby boy. Really unfortunately, a few days before I flew out to California, he passed away, but he enjoyed his life and I got to hug him goodbye, and it was like a good time. So it's not all sad. I'm hoping he's having a really good time in Hoppy Heaven. Just some feet. I hate feet. I try and avoid drawing them when I can because they're gross to me, but I guess we need them as humans. Then this is some thumbnailing from 2001, A Space Odyssey, a beautiful film, and I recommend anyone who is interested should watch it. Then this is a dog of a friend of mine. It's a really sweet, well-behaved dog, and it just has such a sweet face. And I'm not even a big dog person, but a real cutie pie right here. Then this is some stuff from, I think, Croquis Cafe, or it may have been lineofaction.com, I can't remember, but yeah, I hadn't drawn enough naked men, so I guess that's here. Oh, and for those asking, yes, we do have to include nude figures because that's an important part of art school. No, I'm not just being weird and super into naked people, we have to. Then here's some much quicker drawings. And then I actually really enjoyed this page. I used this rainbowy pencil that unfortunately kept going yellow, so a lot of it is very washed out. But the actual drawing part I really enjoyed, and I'd love to do more stuff like this again. I haven't done life drawing since, well, about December, so yeah, it's going to be really fun to finally get back to that next week. And this here is just a random quick storyboard of my 2 characters, Tom and Janie. Because Tom always wears this puffy coat and Janie wants to know why, and well, you can pause here and find out. Then some ducks from my local craft center. They are very cute and some of them have fancy hair. Then another random life drawing page. With the life drawing pages, I didn't want them to be boring, so I tried to experiment at times. Like with this, I just used like kiddie crayons and then did a wash over the top, and I think it created a pretty cool effect. Then these are some characters based off of doodles from my Caesar sketchbook. Just like a really skinny long guy and a very bulbous small guy. I think it was fun to play with the shapes and then them interacting in these various post-it notes. Here's my friend Elliot, did some modeling for me, which is very kind. although I'm really bad at planning shapes out, so his feet and legs stuck out, and that's why I had to get more pieces of paper, and I think it worked out all right. Then this is another one of my favorite pages. I went out to my nearest city and drew some of the people there. With this, I worked in rough colored pencil first, just got in some block shapes and things like that. Then when I got home is when I added color and detail so that the images would be more crisp. And then I just had some yellow paint because I went home. I didn't have any more people to draw. And then this is one of my favorite pages in the entire sketchbook. I included it in my actual portfolio as well. This is that same larger model from Croquis Cafe. I decided to paint her here first in gouache, but then I thought to fill out the rest of the space I would include more images of her, and I think it turned out pretty well, and I like the colour scheme. Then this here is just some hand and foot practice. I included these pages over the top so that they wouldn't smudge because I used chalk under here. These are really rough, but I was told a lot that with Calarts Sketchbooks, they want to see you repeating things over and over to highlight that you're studying something and really trying to understand how it works. So even if it's rough, as long as you're observing, then that's the main thing. Then these are some relatively graphic skeleton humans. I just find this kind of thing really fun. I always draw the skeleton first and then the person, so that's why like her head's really weirdly shaped and this person's proportions are all over the place because I didn't really think things through. Then this is where I got some primary colours, randomly painted blobs and then turned them into things. This is a bit of a crazy page, but I think it's funny. Then I was being told by my peers that my stuff was too clean and like I spent too much time on pages, which is probably true. So I decided to do 2 self-portraits that are much rougher and quicker. And actually, you know what? I'm glad they told me that because this was fun. And with this page, I used these really experimental crayons, which are melted together with a bunch of different colors. So when you draw, it kind of has all these funny lines. I enjoyed that. Then this is my library at school. It's a fun-shaped building, so I decided to go for it. This one I went almost straight into pen. I just vaguely blocked out where these 2 columns were and then how the roof works because it's quite confusing, but it worked out well. Then here I went to a lecture, although I don't really care about this book or my grades apparently, although I did end up doing pretty well. I got an A in this subject, but instead I was drawing the people and then some drawingception. More images from the lecture. This was one of the lecturers, and then this is some guy who also wasn't paying attention. I thought he was fun. I keep saying the word fun, I'm not sure why, but hey, you gotta get used to it. Then these are some workers I saw outside. Again, I roughly drew these in pencil whilst we were walking, which was not easy, and then I cleaned them up when I came home. And then with those workers, I started to push the proportions and turn them into characters. And finally, I ended up with this guy, although I have to say I cannot stand this page or any of these past pages. The idea was based off of a character in my thesis sketchbook who's like super against Mother Nature, doesn't care, loves concrete, and then one day Mother Nature decides to get him back for it as he slowly starts to turn into a tree. So generally the story idea is that he has to do something to make Mother Nature happy in order to reverse this. And finally, nearly finally, we've got some Christmas time events. This is my brother and my sister-in-law. And then just some very random quick life drawing sketches, again from Croquis Cafe. Oh no, this is from Quick Pose, I think. I can't remember, but this is me. This was my outfit on Christmas Day with my slides, these ones here, and then I got a bunch of clothes, so I put all of my clothes on at once, including a scarf and a fluffy coat, and I was very warm, despite wearing shorts in the bottom half. And then that's pretty much it. I had just some little things here. I accidentally made a smudge, so I turned it into a guy cleaning it off. And then at the time, subscribed to PewDiePie was very popular. No matter what your opinion of him is I think he's a reasonable guy. And here's me turning an envelope into a monster. Sorry, little guy. Well, this is it. That is part 2 of 2 complete. If you want to see the other sketchbook, the link will be in the description and on the end card. And I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I make all kinds of art videos, and also why not follow my Instagrams at anya.arts and Meppity. Anya.arts is more for polished drawings, whilst Meppity is for doodles and sketches. Anyway, that's all for today. See you soon. Bye!